This is Tom from the 125 Live TechMates team in Rochester, Minnesota. Our main purpose is to assist 125 Live members with technology. Our YouTube videos and website can be enjoyed by anyone free of charge. Classes and personal assistance are available free of charge for 125 Live social members. Non-members are charged a $10 guest fee. Call 507-287-1404 to join. In this video, I use the term right mouse click or right click a lot. A right click is the same as a two-finger click gesture on a trackpad. I also use the terms system preferences and settings interchangeably. In this video, you will be presented with an overview of Mac system preferences. Since there is so much information to cover on this topic, we created separate videos covering some of the more involved topics. These videos will be noted throughout this presentation in context. You can change some of the settings for your desktop, dock, and menu bar by right-clicking on them. Let's take a look at that. I'll start by doing a right click on the desktop. Opens up a window with a number of options in it. New folder is one. Get info about my desktop is another. Import from iPhone or iPad if one's connected. Change desktop background. Use stacks to organize the items on my desktop. Sort by, and a number of different ways to sort. Clean up by with a number of different options, and show view options. If you'd like to know more about this topic, I suggest you take a look at our video on how to personalize and clean up your Mac desktop. Right-clicking on an open area on your dock opens a window that allows you to change a number of dock settings. I'll do that now. The first one is turn hiding on. That one's like a switch. If it's off, you can turn it on. If it's on, you can turn it off. That'll change depending upon what the current setting is for hiding. That has to do with hiding your dock. Next one is magnification. That has to do with magnifying an icon on your dock if you hover over it, and you can turn it off or on, again like a light switch. Position on the screen. Currently it's on the bottom, but you can change it to the left or the right side of your screen. Minimize using, that has to do with minimizing windows. I like the genie effect. That's kind of like, looks like your window is going into the bottle, like a genie going into the bottle type effect. And the other option is the scale effect that I don't think it just looks like it's disappearing when you minimize a window. And then you can also open up dock preferences by clicking on the bottom there. If you'd like to know more about this topic, I suggest you watch our video called How to Personalize Your Mac Dock. Now let's take a look at the System Preferences application. It's on the bottom left side of my dock. So I'll click on it and open it up. Some of the setting choices are pretty obvious. An example would be Bluetooth, sound, printers, and scanners. But if you have a hard time discovering which setting you want to get into, setting type you want to get into, the search function is pretty handy. So let's type in dock, for example. What happens is it'll highlight system preference types that have the word dock in them or that are related to dock. In this case, there's 3 of them. The first one's the main dock setting. Siri has something to do with docks, and so does keyboard. So they show up. Let's take a look at general preferences. If you click on it, it'll open up a window with a number of pretty useful choices in it. The first one is appearance. I have it set on dark. That's why the window here is dark. If you select light, see it's pretty light. Or if you put it on auto, it'll automatically determine whether it needs to be dark or light. In this case, it's deciding, I think my Mac's deciding that because of the lighting in this room, that light is the good way to go. I leave it on dark all the time because I don't have any problem reading it in any kind of lighting when it's on dark, and it's easier on my eyes. Accent color, right now it's on blue, so that's what you see, all the blue on this window and around the selection I made. If you change it to a different color, you can see the effect on it. So if you like green better than blue, then you can use green. I'll put it back on blue. Highlight color is also blue, and that's like if you say if you're in a word processing document and you highlight some text that you want to manipulate in some way or fashion, it'll highlight it in blue. Sidebar icon size. That has to do with sidebar menus, and I'll show you an example using Finder. Open up the Finder app, and here's the sidebar menu. And if I change it to large, you can see the impact, the difference. If I change it to small, see quite a difference. And as you see it, you can fit more in the space when they're smaller, but they're a little harder to read. So you need to pick the size that makes the most sense to you. I leave it on medium, that's what I like. And next option is automatically hide and show the menu bar that's on the top. Let me select that, and it went away. If I hover over there, then it will reappear if my pointer is up on the top of the screen. So I leave it unchecked because I like that just to be up there all the time. The next several settings have to do with scroll bar settings. You can change them and experiment with them a little bit, depending upon what you prefer. Default web browser. If I click on the down arrow, I get two choices because I have two web browsers on my computer, and I prefer Google Chrome, so I chose that one. And then next grouping of settings have to do with changes when closing documents, has to keep changes. Close windows when quitting an app. Recent items, I'm limiting it to 10, but you can choose other numbers as well, all the way up to 50. Allow handoff between this Mac and your iCloud devices. I don't need that because I don't use iCloud, but you might turn it on if you have iCloud. And use font smoothing when available. I have it on. I'm not so sure I notice the impact on that, but I leave it on. So if we click on the back arrow, it'll take you back to the main system preferences window. Next, let's take a look at desktop and screensaver. Click on that, open up the window. Right now it's on the screensaver tab where you can choose what you want to see in your screensaver and change a couple other settings, such as how long it'll take before the screensaver kicks in and that sort of thing. The other tab is for desktop, and you can choose a picture that comes with the Mac. Some are dynamic, some are static. You can also choose a color. Black's kind of interesting. I like the picture and put it back to the Catalina coast picture. You can pick a photo from your computer, also some folders. If you aren't seeing something like there, you can also add with the plus and add some other folders for things from your desktop that you'd like to have on your desktop. So let's go back to the main window again. If you'd like to learn more about desktop settings, see our video on how to personalize and clean up your Mac. The next is dock. Well, I'm going to open this up because there's a couple of things that weren't on the settings that you were offered when you did the right mouse click on the dock. Well, the first one is the size. You can change the size of your icons. You can actually make them quite small if you want to. That's where the magnification comes in handy. When you hover over one, it gets large enough you easily click on it. And some people like to leave it on large because then they'll always be as large as they can be to take up all the available space. It'll vary depending upon how many icons you have on your dock. Magnification, I like it in the middle, but if you want, you can make it, max it out if you want. Position on the screen. Right now it's on the bottom. You do left and right. The rest of the settings are what we've seen already. So we're just going to go back again to the main menu. We also have a video on how to personalize your Mac dock that goes into those settings in more detail if you're interested. Next, let's take a quick look at Spotlight Search. Spotlight Search sometimes offers you a lot of choices because it looks at a lot of different things. If you want to limit your search, you can eliminate some things like maybe documents or applications or whatever from your search. If you'd like to know a lot more about how to use Spotlight Search, there's a lot of interesting features. I'd suggest you take a look at our Mac menu bar and Spotlight Search video. Next, software update is an important thing. It looks like the gear. And I suggest you take a look at our Mac Apple menu video if you'd like to know more about that. It goes into good details on how to do that. And then now we see Bluetooth and sound and printers. Those are pretty easily recognizable, and you can change your sound settings, pair up Bluetooth devices, add printers, remove printers and scanners, that type of thing from your system. Trackpad settings are pretty interesting, and if you'd like to know how to use a trackpad and how to tweak the settings, we also have an in-depth video on that called Mac Trackpad Gestures. So I suggest you check that one out if you'd like to know more about that. Mouse, we don't have any special videos on that, but I think most people are already pretty comfortable using their mouse. So that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you still have questions, send us an email with your name, phone number, and a brief description of your question. Personal assistance is available free of charge for 125 Live social members. Non-members are charged a $10 guest fee. If you aren't already a member, call 507-287-1404 to join.